Picture this. It's 1976, a small garage in Los Altos, California. Two young guys, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, are tinkering with wires, keyboards, and wooden boards. They're building something that looks more like a science project than a computer. That invention, the Apple I, wasn't glamorous. No sleek aluminum finish, no glowing Apple logo, just a bare circuit board. But it carried a price tag of $666.66 and became the spark that lit a revolution. Fast forward nearly 50 years, Apple is no longer a garage project. It's a $3 trillion company, the most valuable in the world. Its products aren't just tools, they're fashion statements, status symbols, and cultural milestones. So how did this happen? How did Apple transform from a garage dream into a global empire that literally changed the way we live? Welcome to Boardroom Stories. Here we dive into the untold stories of the world's biggest companies and the people behind them. If you love business, innovation, and a little bit of drama, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get started. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak weren't billionaires back then. They were outsiders. Jobs had dropped out of college. Wozniak was an engineering genius, but shy. They built the first Apple computers by hand and sold around 200 Apple I units, mostly to hobbyists. But the real breakthrough came in 1977. With the Apple II, it was one of the first successful personal computers for ordinary people. Color graphics, user-friendly design, and it could actually sit on your desk. Sales exploded. By 1980, Apple went public, and its IPO created more than 300 millionaires overnight, one of the largest IPOs of its time. Apple's valuation soared to $1.7 billion. The garage dream had officially gone mainstream, but success came with turbulence. By the mid-1980s, Apple's leadership was at war with itself. The Macintosh was launched in 1984 with that iconic 1984 Super Bowl ad, directed by Ridley Scott. But sales disappointed. Behind the scenes, Jobs clashed with then-CEO John Sculley. The board sided with Sculley. And in 1985, Steve Jobs, the co-founder, the visionary, was forced out of Apple. Without Jobs, Apple lost its spark. The company struggled with product flops like the Newton. Its market share plummeted. By 1997, Apple was weeks away from bankruptcy. At its lowest point, it was burning through cash so fast that analysts predicted Apple had just 90 days to survive. And then came the twist. In 1997, Apple bought NeXT, the company Steve Jobs had founded. After leaving. That deal brought Jobs back into Apple. He immediately cut down Apple's messy product line. Over 40 different products were reduced to just 4 categories. Then, he introduced design, simplicity, and vision. First came the iMac in 1998, bright, colorful, playful. It wasn't just a computer, it was a statement. Sales went crazy. Then came the iPod in 2001. The promise, 1,000 songs in your pocket. The iPod didn't just change Apple, it changed music forever. By 2007, Apple had sold over 100 million iPods, but Jobs wasn't done. In 2007, he unveiled the iPhone, an iPod, and an internet device in one. That launch didn't just create a new product, it created a new industry. Today, over 1.2 billion iPhones have been sold worldwide. Then, in 2010, came the iPad. Critics called it just a big iPhone, but consumers disagreed. It redefined personal computing. Under Jobs and later Tim Cook, Apple expanded far beyond hardware. Now, it's an ecosystem: iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, AirPods, all seamlessly connected. Add services like Apple Music, iCloud, Apple Pay, and the App Store. And suddenly, Apple isn't just selling devices, it's selling a lifestyle. In 2018, Apple became the first US company to hit $1 trillion in market cap. By 2022, it crossed $3 trillion. That's more than the GDP of countries like France, Italy, or even India at one point. Today, Apple has over 1.5 billion active devices in use globally, and every product from AirPods to iPhones feeds into that ecosystem, locking customers in with loyalty rates over 90%, from a $666 circuit board in a garage to a $3 trillion global empire. Apple's story isn't just about technology. It's about resilience, design, and the power of vision. And maybe the biggest lesson: failure isn't the end. Jobs was fired from his own company, but his return created the most legendary comeback in business history. This was the story of Apple. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boardroom Stories. We'll keep bringing you more incredible journeys from the boardrooms that changed the world.